Alrighty, guys, I've got my good friend Brad on again today. For those who haven't met Brad before, we'd have a previous podcast on sales. Brad's an absolute sales machine, really great business owner, both face to face and online. And today, so welcome, Brad, mate. Thanks
Thanks,
for
mate.
coming on, mate. Your lighting is so much better than mine. I'm so rattled. So, guys, today we're going to talk about the importance of personal growth as small business owners. And then we're going to also talk about the importance of growing your team because, look, no one's ever created a high six-figure or 500K business or $1 million business without a good team, right? So, Brad, mate, I guess like on the personal side of growth, you were mentioning before you like to do 30 minutes a day. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so many people you listen to and experts out there are saying you have to do an hour a day, 7 days a week, or an hour and a half a day, whatever it is. And for me, that's just too long. I haven't got that much time to commit. So I like to essentially go, okay, it's like everything in business. What can I do consistently that's going to get me results that doesn't overwhelm me? And years ago when I used to consume heaps of content, I just consumed, and then I didn't actually do
Content
anything with it
slut.
because it was just too much, right? And I was just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know all this shit, but I can't do anything with it. So now I spend like half an hour a day doing some sort of upskilling or personal development.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm kind of the same. I try and do an hour every single day. I got that off Grant Cardone. I think it's called the 1 x 7 rule, which I really like. But that being said, I don't really time it either. Not like, hey, it's just have these like systems and flows and things like that. And mate, let's go a bit personal. What are you kind of studying and learning about personally at the moment to try and grow?
I suppose for me, obviously, you and I are doing a bit more work together, and we're going to obviously, absolutely crush this with gym owners. So for me, it's, I'm starting to put more, I suppose, emphasis into, presenting presentations and, helping gym owners and somewhat, how to actually relay the messages and struggles that I've faced and how to
Yep.
relate that to other gyms so they can learn from my mistakes and not have to make them themselves. So,
Yep.
we've just started the YouTube channel. We've got obviously these podcasts that we're doing and stuff like that, but very much on, actually presenting the content that I've any struggles that I've faced.
Such a good skill, hey, being able to present, be able to produce video, but also, do you know Andrew Gosum?
Yeah,
He hired an acting coach, hey? One of
I
our
have.
friends hired an acting coach based in Sydney. I'll ask him tonight how it's going. So we'll talk a little bit about personal growth, about who you spend your time with. But she actually taught him how to present, how to get the message across, how to stand in videos and stuff, which is really, really cool. And with a flow, Brad, I guess probably a bit of a different question. When you learn something, do you go like a month really hard at a certain topic, or just tick it off until you feel like you've learned what you needed to learn? How do you go about it?
Yeah, so when I first opened the gym, 5 years ago, I tried to cover 10 different things at once and just take little bits and then sort of try and plug them in. And at that time, it got me through. I
Yep.
think now I definitely get a lot deeper on things and learn it, understand why it's so important, how I can implement it, the pros and cons, and then actually start putting that into effect or into work before I want to move on because so often, people can half-ass things and be like, oh, it didn't work. Well, it's like, well, you didn't actually learn it all. So you
Yep.
didn't implement it all. So I was kind of getting caught half-assing stuff.
Yep.
So I've sort of learned, like, let's learn it, let's digest it, go back and, read bits again if I have to, or listen to bits again, and then implement it, get some feedback, go back, adjust it, apply it again, and then sort of go from there.
Yep. Yeah, mate, I really, really like that. And so at the moment, I'm kind of studying a lot on TikTok, Instagram Reels. I'm really enjoying that. The engagement's really high. And also like a fair bit, I'm about to hire a new mentor who's about like how you structure courses for maximum results for people in it. So obviously got a lot of people in our program, they get really killer results, but I'm like, look, how can we make it that 20-30% better? Which I'm super excited about as well. And mate, when you kind of study, right? Do you have any preferred platforms? Do you like buy courses, or you use YouTube or listen to podcasts? How do you usually go about it?
Yeah, so I'm a massive
Books?
one for podcasts. I
Yep.
hate reading. I say I'm a bad
Me too.
reader.
Eh?
but I'm not. I can't sit still. Like I don't have ADHD, but I can't sit still. So I would much prefer to put a podcast on while I'm driving, and I'll jump on a
Yep.
podcast. I'll drive say to footy training. I'll get 30 minutes in of a podcast. I'll be like, yep, this has got some nuggets in it. I'll then go and sit down and listen to that podcast and then take notes.
Yep.
So I somewhat listen to it while I'm a bit distracted, get the flow of it, and then go, okay, cool, this has got some nuggets I want to actually absorb, go back and then put it down to paper. But when I was reading, I was just too slow. Like I'm very impatient.
Yep.
So I just didn't sort of stick with it. How did, obviously we've spoken before, like how do you sort of kind of get yours?
Usually like I'm in a lot of mentorship programs, so usually like it's videos. So like when I meet like probably my biggest mentorship thing each week is my like coaching call with Charlie, which goes for an hour. So like any program you're in, guys, you got to make sure you attend the calls, whether it's like one-on-one or group. But I do a lot of stuff on that, and then usually at the end of it, just depending, there's like 3 to 5 things to do. So one of the things this week was like how to run like a sales meeting a bit more effectively. I want to get another 10% out of that. So then often like I'll like do a course that has videos in it, that has it mapped out. And then quite often, like when I really want to upskill someone, I'm so fucking grateful for the people I know. That this week when I was talking about some sales, I called one of the guys from Sales Sniper, Marco, had a chat to him about a few things, and then Andrew Poulton and Dan Henderson, and like chat to you about a lot of stuff, just to see what everyone's doing. Because if you do any course, right, it's not like it's that way or the highway, right? You've got to follow the course like 90%, or there's no point buying it. So then I just kind of pick up bits and pieces. And so yeah, mate, usually courses. I've really tried to limit the amount of books I read and the amount of podcasts I listen to. Like for a long time, I used to like pride myself on this is how much self-development I do. And no one cares. No one cares if you read a book a week. What they care about is, are you implementing everything you know? So I was like driving, listening to podcasts and listening to podcasts at gym and fucking audio book a week and stuff. And I was just like, it's just a waste of time. So now I really like to focus on a specific thing. Say it's like how to run a better sales meeting, watch a video on it or two, talk to your mentors, get information off your friends and people in the industry, and then lock it into a system and then implement it for a month and kind of see how it goes.
Yeah, I definitely like, as you said, like listening to a book a week, like that's fabulous. But if you're doing a book every week, like when are you actually putting it into place? Like if it was, okay, I want to spend some time to myself and read a fictional book or listen to a fictional book a week just for pleasure, completely different. Where if it's about business, a book a week's great, but you also need time to then actually go and put the stuff that you've learned into practice, get the feedback, adjust it, and then get it into your business so it's actually working. And you can't do that week after week. Like it's impossible. I don't care how many hours you've got, how many staff you've got. It's just impossible to do.
Yeah, and I'm a super lazy person as well. Hey, like I obviously like work long and work hard, but when I have a problem, I just like to go to someone who will give me the solution. So like I don't want to read 5 books on retention, right? I want to go to a gym owner who has fucking incredible retention and has a lot of members. Go, hey, what are you doing? And then go to a course and just find it out directly off the source. Like one of our mates, Dill, he runs a really cool online business for shearers. So my missus is with her online business, she doesn't want to do sales calls. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, Dill signs people up for $50 a week with no sales call, and then just go to Dill. How do you do it? Bang, 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 all done. Simple. It's just like you just get everything really quickly. I always believe in just going to the source, right? And sometimes it's expensive, like it fucking is. But, you know, if you go directly to the source, it saves you 10, 20 books to read.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you've heard of like the submarine story, right? Where the submarine's broken down and the technician goes in and gets a hammer and like knocks like 3 times and then like fixes it, engine starts working, and then it gets the bill and it's $1 million. It's like, hey, you only did it for like 10 seconds. It's like, well, you paid me to know where to tap, not for the 10 seconds that I was tapping. Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's such a funny quote that actually. So it's like, yeah, the time to tap and knowing where to tap, like 990,000. So mate, I guess for people watching, right? I think it's really big. And I think just something else I just want to add on personal growth, guys. It's not just becoming better. Like as small business owners, it's not just becoming better at Facebook ads and learning how to sell. It's also becoming a better person. So, across the years, I've worked with, like, I work with like stuff for my relationships, also like mental, physical stuff as well. We've got all the technical stuff like Facebook ads, accountants, bookkeepers. Anytime I see my accountant or bookkeeper, I consider it a mentoring session, because if you're going there, they're not teaching you stuff, it's a waste of time, right? So just make sure you encompass, like, Brad, have you ever heard of do you know that wheel of life thing where it's like physical, mental, emotional, business, like that kind of thing? Is you want to think of your personal growth as that. And one of the things I really just like to focus on is there's some things you don't need mastery in, right? But it's like, okay, cool. Let's say you're struggling as a leader in your businesses, guys. Work on leadership, buy a leadership course, maybe read a book, get advice off your mentors, build it out. It might take you 3 or 4 weeks to get a good idea and a bit more study, and then actually put it into action, right, for a couple of months. And that's really the best way to have personal growth, and why so many people are mentors, right? The only difference between, say, myself, for example, and someone else is not that I know more, it's that I've experienced more having 3 gyms. I've experienced trainers leaving and fast growth and slow growth and like all the things along the way. So the best thing of personal growth is just to fucking get in and work and become better at what you do. So through experience, rather than people learn about things that they're never going to implement and might not ever be really like applicable to where they're at in their business. And I think that's where most people go wrong with personal growth, just studying pointless shit. Like webinars when they're never going to run a webinar. Like, why would you learn about like running a webinar if that's not going to be how you get leads?
That's it. And sometimes, you need to know things. Like for me, I need to know like how much money's in the bank account, right? I don't need to know how to lodge a BAS or do a tax return. Like that's my accountant's job. I've hired an expert for that, but I need to understand it. So people try and look like times they want to try and master everything in their business, and then you can somewhat become the ceiling of your business as well, because you don't want to outsource to experts. So sometimes it's good to obviously learn and get an understanding of things, but then realize, okay, like I'm not good at sales, for example. I'm going to go and hire a sales expert. I know how to do a sale, but I'm going to outsource that to an expert, and that's their sole job for my business.
Yeah.
So you just need to have an understanding sometimes and then outsource it.
I think as well, like especially covering the podcast, thing I want to mention everyone is there's so many experts out there in the world on so many different things, and what they all teach you there, some are obviously better than others, right? That's life. But you've got to be careful getting multiple pieces of advice on the same thing from like 10 different people. And I kind of mentioned before, like I remember like when we had like our gyms and stuff, and guys, send me or Brad a message on Facebook is sent to you, but people putting their 2 cents in and like giving you advice on your gym and stuff. And it's like, you're like a 45-year-old client. You don't fucking own a gym and have any clue here, but like taking everyone's advice on is really careful. So one of the things when I mentioned getting advice off people, obviously I'm like really lucky in our program. I know so many people who are killers at business, so you can get advice off them on things. But then also as well, I have a list, like an A list of people who I ask for advice from. It's like Brad's on there, and like it's about 10 people where it's like, if I've got this problem, right, I'm going to reach out to these people because they're doing, 200,000 a week or 400, 500, 600,000 a month. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're going to have the solution to this, which saves you a lot of time. And if you build your network, right, guys, and I can't stress this enough, just say, for example, if I had a gym, because I'm now friends with Brad, I never, ever in my life have to study sales again, ever. Like, it's just like me and Brad are mates. We've been through the trenches together. It's like I've got his number. He can call me and vice versa. So I can't stress how important it is of becoming friends with people who are absolute killers at what they do, because your friends and your network and who you hang around with are the best mentors and the best way to grow personally. Like tonight, I'm going to dinner with the guys from Sales Sniper and Systems by Design and stuff. And I'm clearly going to be the like smallest dog at that table, because Sales Sniper do like 500K a month or something. I know Systems by Design do the same. And I'm just so excited because I get to learn from them. The conversations are at a different level. So you need to really surround yourself with those people. Do you kind of believe in that a bit as well, Brad?
100%. And So I think sometimes, like in business, people see the competitor as the competitor when it's not. There's so like, especially in fitness, there's so many gyms out there, but we're nothing compared to how many fast food chains are out there,
Yeah.
right? Like we're definitely outnumbered. So if you're, got people in your local area that are doing great, and get with them, have a chat with them, have a coffee, what's working, what's not working, and just bind together. Because as you say, the people you spend the most amount of time with definitely rub off on you. So if you're out there drinking beers every weekend and hanging down the footy club, you don't expect to be a high performer in your business Monday to Friday, because it's just not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, and I think I used to say, and I say it a lot to our guys, is our biggest competitor is actually one that people don't train, right? Is like bigger than the actual other gyms in the area, right? And
Yeah.
definitely, you can consider, people just deciding to have an unhealthy life, which is to not be active, to eat Maccas, to eat KFC, to not do their sleep well and things like that. That's our biggest competitor. It's not actually the fucking gym that opens up next door. Because if everyone was fit and healthy in your area and gave a fuck about what they looked like, what they felt like, every gym in the area, and I know everyone watching or listening to this, there's probably 30 gyms in your area, every fucking one would be packed out every day if everyone cared about their health as much as everyone who is like listening or watching along here. And Brad, I just want to bridge on into personal growth for the actual staff in our business, our team. And we're actually, because before you said you do a 1 hour meeting every week with your guys. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so it's actually 1 hour of education. So it's completely separate to our like weekly team meetings. So we do an hour of education every week. So during our normal team meeting, we'll discuss, biggest obstacles we're having with clients. There might be some technical issues we're seeing with some of the coaches delivering specific movements with specific clients or things like that. Or at the moment, we've had a massive influx of clients. What are some common injuries or mobility issues that we're seeing come through? So then on that Friday, we'll do some education around that, so the coaches have the tools that they need to run better sessions, just have more information. But it also helps with the coaches become better, and it's their personal growth. Like they feel like they're an integral part of the business because they're constantly growing. They can go and work at any gym in Australia if they wanted to, but not many of them offer them, weekly education to make them a better coach.
Oh, 100%. And guys, like if you are like listening along or watching, make sure you replay what Brad just said, because he mapped it out like perfectly. And I just can't agree enough. We used to, in our clubs, just do half an hour a week, but it was the same stuff as Brad. And, anything better than 30 minutes is 60, guys. So I think you've got to have, and you've got to care about your coaches that, just imagine someone comes and starts in your business today. How are they a better coach in 12 months? And they should be twice, 3 times, 4 times as better coach through experience and also the training. And if not, there's something seriously fucking missing in your business. Because your trainers are the true asset. If you got the world's best trainers in there, makes life very easy. Get a lot of referrals. Everyone kind of loves it, and you have growth-minded staff. And mate, so you've got that meeting, which is phenomenal. Love that you said that. What kind of other stuff do you guys do for the trainers?
Well, it sort of all depends where they're at and what hobbies and stuff they have and what aspirations they have as a coach. So it's very individualized. So during COVID last year, we obviously started working from home because the gyms were shut. So we put our coaches through Precision Nutrition. Obviously decided it was time to go and get some professional nutrition coaching and delivery. The coaches knew most of the information, but it's nice to have a certificate to put on the wall and some formal training.
Oh, it's amazing. They love it.
It just sort of goes to show that that's what the coaches enjoy. So we've got coaches doing CrossFit coaching. One's a powerlifter, so he's got a coach. So just doing different things that they enjoy, and then bringing that back to the team.
So what Brad's covering there for us guys, like the meeting is internal self-development stuff you do in-house, and then like a precision nutrition or what are some other stuff? Kettlebell courses, maybe a CrossFit course, sandbag course, whatever it is, that's all external, where you're going to an external provider. And that stuff's just like so important, right? Precision nutrition course is great. And they can be pro coach and things like that. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Just common sense nutrition stuff, precision nutrition, isn't it? It's just like, just don't be a dickhead with your food, and it's very, very easy to implement.
Yeah, and I suppose the big thing from the coaches is like they're aware they're getting upskilled, so
Yep.
they value it so much, like so much, because if you're training in a commercial gym, if you're at a Good Life or a Snap or something like that, you have to go and fork out that money yourself every
Yep.
year to go and do a course. Where the luxury of having one facilitator come to you is you can get 4, 5, 6 coaches trained at the same time, and the course can be specific to you and your coaches, for kettlebells and stuff like that.
Yeah, we used to do that with Dan Henderson and Tarek from Functional Training Institute Australia, I think they're called. They would come into our facilities every 90 days and they would just do 2 hours, but would have this like 4-hour event, and they would do 2 hours of coaching. And to be honest, we would just tell them like, Dan, there's shit house at kettlebell swings. We need the intros, man. We need this. And he would come and just blow us away. And then we'll do a little bit of stuff, but that was internal. But you can get people, and this is a good thing, like as you have big teams and stuff, and especially if you have a good network, is you can get external providers to come internally and privately train your team, which you get that real customization of things. And another way to do it, guys, like I actually learnt this off like a couple of F45s I know, is you can get if you know other gyms in the area, right, and people around, is you can band together as like a team of like, we were lucky because we had 3 gyms, right? But you could, maybe you have a mate who has a gym in the other suburb or whatever, and get together and run a training for your team internally and make it really, really special and super customized for what you're looking for. Rather than sometimes with those courses, it's just the general courses are great. I did a lot of Charles Poliquin's ones when I was a trainer, like frothed on Poliquin, rest in peace, a big man, that I really, really enjoyed. And so, Brad, so we've got that. So what are some of, let's talk a bit about external. So you've got external courses like Precision Nutrition. Are there any others that have been really popular and beneficial for your trainers and your business?
We've run obviously Precision Nutrition. We've had Sergey, who is a kettlebell athlete.
Oh really?
Sergey from Russia.
He sounds like a kettlebell athlete. He's like Russian or some shit.
Yeah. So he came to our facility and actually ran a session for us, and then since that we eventually ended up holding kettlebell competitions in our facility.
Oh no way! The long cycle. Kettlebell sports is tough. Cycle. I did it for a day. I did it for a week, man. Had hectic ass blisters and shit. Like you really got to work your way into it, which isn't my personality. I'm just like balls to the wall. But kettlebell stuff's fun. It's really hard. They don't make it look hard. When they do it, it looks super easy. So
I think I did a 24 minute or a 16-minute snatch competition.
Yep.
Like a month after starting. Being able to change hands once and get into it. But it was great because it's just something that's so far out of my comfort zone. Like my background is powerlifting and bodybuilding, but to do that, and then obviously all the coaches come in and do it as well. But you obviously learn the foundation, and then you learn the far other end of it. It's like, okay, this is like the other end. So that was great. We've done Australian strength coach. And we've done strength systems.
Seb, so big Sebby.
He's a legend. So I flew to Sydney and did his course. When he comes to Perth, we try and get our coaches onto his stuff. We do lots of the big 3 lifts, and he does his stuff with Andrew Locke now with mobility and that. So that's another great one that we try and get them to do as well.
Yeah, mate, we've done some crazy stuff over the years. Some like really good stuff. Like we had like Donnie Singe, he's like the strength coach for Manly in, which was really good. That was when we're going down the sport athlete development route. We had John Pryor, who's like kind of a speed coach for the Wallabies, a couple of teams in Japan. I think the biggest thing, guys, is having a network, right? Like we're so lucky. There was times where we did a phase where we aligned with a local chiro So what happens, the referrals weren't working the way we want to. And I was like to our guys, I'm like, have you ever seen a chiropractor? And like a lot of the old chiros, they've got that ABC method where they just fucking crack you in and out 15 minutes. But chiropractic's changed. Like these guys coming out of uni now are fucking, most of them are weapons. I know there's two guys locally, and one guy named Tom specifically. It's one of like the best physio slash chiros. So we did training with those guys for like a month. So they actually learnt what a chiro does and how they look at things and what the difference is, which was really good. And probably external ones, like we got a guy come over from Canada, which was nice, a guy named Joe Arco. We had Dan in a lot. And I think it's guys just like building your network, which how we actually built our network was from myself and my business partner going to these courses when we were trainers. And you meet so many amazing people. Like I've never coached with Seb, but I met Seb at a Charles Poliquin event back in the day. And like, he's absolutely amazing. And you just meet these people by being in the fitness industry and actually getting out of your four walls and learning. Because often when people are smashing these courses, it's just an amount of time before they become either a business coach, right? Or they start to teach people what they learn if they're really good at it. So I can't stress that external stuff enough. And Brad, I just want to spend a couple more minutes on internal, right? Because we covered the making them better trainers. Is there anything else you do internally, like maybe in a one-on-one environment or an onboarding when a trainer gets started with you, to really start to develop them from day one?
Yeah, so our onboarding is massive. So it starts literally from the minute someone's essentially hired or they're given the phone call to say they've got a position with us. So we have a portal that we sit in
It's
our
legit.
CRM.
It's the best portal I've ever seen, like for an
Yeah,
onboarding. It's crazy, hey?
it's crazy, and it's taken us years and years to build it. Originally it was just in a Google Drive, but
Yep.
that onboarding goes everything from timesheets to uniform to what personal trainer means to us as coaches at TBC. What the client expectations are, what the owner's expectations are, how to run a session, when mobile phones are allowed, on how to do your timesheet. But then it actually goes on to like the fun stuff, which is how we coach every movement, like at
Yep.
TBC. So all our coaches are coaching it the same way. And then we go through to 12 weeks of internal education. So it's nothing crazy. It's pretty basic stuff, but it's how we deliver nutrition. It's a little bit about hormones, some mindset stuff in there. Communication
Yep.
is a massive one. The female menstrual cycle and what sort of things we need to be aware of when we're working with female clients. So just some really good info, and it's designed to be an hour a week for them. So
Yep.
with our coaches onboarding, they do an hour in club face to face, and then have an hour to do by themselves. And there's some questionnaires and like Google Forms to fill out in regards to questions to answer as they go through it. So we know they've got an understanding, and we can get some feedback on the course as well.
Yep. Yeah, we did like a similar one. Our one was like 16 weeks. I was lucky to see Brad's portal. It's absolutely insane what you guys done. And I think it's guys like with that onboarding, if you don't have one at the moment, right? Or if you have one, you want to have a look over it, because if you truly care about your clients and also how good your trainers are, if you haven't choreographed what their first 2, 3, 4 months looks like, you're letting them down and you're letting your clients down as well. And I can't stress it enough. I know like a lot of Vision personal trainings, Vision, Brad, like
Yeah.
they do it really well. They have like really good trainer onboardings and things like that. It's like super slick. And so you've got your onboarding. Do you do anything else? Do you like meet your trainers one-on-one, like monthly or quarterly or anything like that? Or how do you do that?
Yeah, well, I suppose we're kind of lucky. Like I'm in the club every day, so my head coach he meets with our coaches after every session. So after our
Yep.
morning block, he'll meet with the
Or
coaches.
you do like a
What
morning
worked,
huddle?
what didn't work, what can we do better?
Yep.
And then we do that at the evening as well. And then I'll generally catch up one on one with each coach for about 15 to 20 minutes a week. Very informal. How's everything going? What are you struggling with? Any clients you're having issues with? And then from there, I can sort of refer them back into the portal to look at specific topics if it's in regards to, nutrition or mindset for a coach.
Yep.
And then, or give them a different resource that they can sort of upskill them and help sort of bridge that gap, and we can just, spitball what I've seen work in the past, and they can chat with the other coaches in the group as well.
Yeah, mate, we did the same. We had to, because my ex-business partner Connor used to run most of them. So when when we had 2 clubs, it was all sweet. When we went to 3, we had to make everything like not like super formal, but just booked in. So we kind of did stuff every fortnight. We would run through their KPIs, their checklists, what's going well, and things like that. And I think it's how you guys want to manage a business, right? Like when you have one, you don't have to run it like insanely, like, super tight, right? Because you're there, you're with the trainers. When you have 2, you can still kind of do the same. But as you start to have 3, or if your time's really pressed, guys, you just book in like 30 minutes every fortnight, however you want to do it. It just depends kind of how you want to go about it. And that's what we talk about, personal growth. What type of leader do you want to be? Right? Like, do you want it to be like, everything's done fucking by the book, super crazy, which we didn't want in our clubs. We wanted like nice casual vibes, come in, work hard, do your work, but it wasn't like a, massive corporation. And it's something you've got to think about, especially with this personal growth stuff and also your meetings with trainers. I know my cousin has a real estate agency and they do like 90-day reviews. And I saw the forms and they're super hectic. It's like a full 360 review. It's like 9 pages. And I was like, that's really cool. Like, it's not something we would do, but there's just different ways to manage and run a business, and you've really got to make it work around you.
And it's also for your coaches as well. Like, if you're hiring, coaches that are fairly, they're casual, but then when it's time to work, it's time to work. They might not want to be booked in, so it's having that conversation that, hey, we need to book this in because I'm super busy. I'm not going to be in the club full time. Let's just book this in every fortnight and have it as a rolling commitment.
Yep. Yeah, no, we used to like because we did huddles like you. We used to do like 15-minute huddles after the sessions, and that usually covers most of it. Like if you're in your own club and you're running them, like you can get away with something, formal every 90 days because you're literally chatting to them every day, and the trainers become your really close friends at that stage. Definitely as you get bigger and have multiple locations, you need to lock something in like super formal. But again, it just depends how, you want to, manage your business and trainers and things like that. And probably, guys, just the last thing, let's talk about like trainer personal growth. And it's saying I didn't talk to Brad about it before the call, but what we used to do is we used to rate our trainers. We used to have 90-day game plans with the managers and owners. So just say if Brad was a trainer, right, we would rate him. So it was 0 out of 5, 0 being like, probably you're going to get fired, 5 being like you're the like absolute best and where we want to be. So we would rate Brad on his like technical ability to run sessions. Like, is he like the best coach that we can be? Would also rate him on his marketing ability. Can he help the business grow like organically and get people in? Would rate him on their sales. Would also rate Brad on his teamwork. And essentially teamwork's like, do we want to fucking keep Brad in the business? Like, is he a good dude? Right. And then would also rate him on his ability to build community outside, which was, is he friends with the clients? Right. Does he attend events? Does he live the, Code 5 ethos and stuff like that? So those would be the main ones we would rate them on. And then what we would do is there would be a couple of others would add in. Like there was a random month where we're like, let's rate Brad's cleaning ability on the bathrooms because we got a couple of complaints on the bathrooms. And we're like, oh, Brad's a 5, Jimmy's a 0. We know he never chips in. So then you can focus on different things each month, but you want to have like a core set. And then we'd look at, say Brad or a trainer and go, okay, cool. Their sessions at the moment as a 3. And here's why we rate them at a 3, compared to, Max, who's getting a 5. We go, what can we do over the next 90 days to move Brad from a 3 to a 4, right? And what can you do with Max, who's already a 5? Because just because someone's a 5 does not mean they stay for a 5 forever. You've seen, probably even in ourselves, guys, you've seen performance go up and performance drop. So it's like, what do we need to do to keep Max at a 5? Do we need to move him into a leadership role? Do we need to pat him on the back? Do we need to give him what is it, right? And then if you do that every single 90 days with your staff, you're going to have a really good game plan on how you make people better, but also think like a higher level business owner, knowing not everyone's performance in life is linear. It goes up and down. Going, hey, what's the game plan to keep Brad at a 5 on his sales over the next, 90 days? And it might be like, hey, Brad, I want you to have Saturdays off and not burn out. We need to keep you up and about, right? And that's how you can think like a really, really positive, business owner, but take action on it as well, guys, and have game plans for everyone. And that would probably be one of the other things we add on. So then we're like, okay, we're only focusing on, for example, getting one of your trainers better at running the actual sessions. Get them from a 3 to a 5. You tell that to them, training, one-on-one, group, courses, whatever it is, to make sure they're moving up those ladders every single 90 days.
Yeah, and like I don't actually do that, but that's a really good point. And I suppose because I'm in the club so much, I sort of see a lot of it and have quick conversations. But by doing that, you'd also see a lot of trainers like have other stuff happening in their life, right? Sometimes just life's just going to shit. They're going through a tough time, a breakup, or they've had something going on. I'm sure by doing that, you would be able to pick up pretty early. It's like, hey Jimmy, like last month you were a 5 at this, and this month like you're a 2. Like, is everything okay? And it's not a case of like, hey Jimmy, like this month you're completely shit, like we're gonna sack you. It's like, hey man, like is everything okay? Like last month you were nailing it. This month it's just like not up to scratch. Like what's happening? It opens up that dialect and that conversation to have a honest communication about what's happening, right? Instead of just, hey, what's going on? Shit.
Yeah, and I think, mate, I've been like, especially with a lot of people, like in our gyms, like we're so lucky to have Connor. He has amazing emotional intelligence, like really high levels. I've seen a lot of businesses crumble when the leader steps out and they put another manager in, and the manager, like, let's talk about managing, like, because a lot of people are like, oh, let's hire Brad as a manager because he's good at marketing, good at sales. And like the biggest thing with a manager is, can they manage the team? And can you see that, you're one of your trainers is, maybe started coming to work 5 minutes later than normal, right? Or, are they, starting to, have a bit of issues at home or with their family or something, because it will affect their work. So I actually learned this off Kerwin Ray. Kerwin Ray? I think everyone knows Kerwin, where he said this video and it was so amazing. I sent it to about 20 people, but it's like, when your staff have problems, everyone's like, Brad, don't bring your fucking problems to work, right? And he did this video, it went viral, where he's like, I want you to bring your problems to work and tell me about it and talk to me about it so we can make a positive change and improve it. And I think it's just such an amazing perspective with our trainers and everyone, because everyone's like, don't bring your problems to work when you turn up on session, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they've got problems in their life. Why don't you try and help it out with them and give them some advice and be a mentor 100%. To these guys?
100%.
All right. And guys, that's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching along or listening. If you ever want to connect with Brad and I, Instagram or Facebook is the best place. And if you have any questions, just send us a message. And Brad, thank you so much, buddy, for jumping on. I'll probably get you on. Maybe we'll do one. We might do like once a week or something like that. We'll see how it goes.
Let's do it.
Awesome. See you, buddy.
See you, mate. Speak soon.